Good evening. I'm gonna basically show you all how I've been trying to record some noisy, feedbacky, reverby stuff in time with my drumming. Basically, I kind of want it to be like a recording setup where I'm playing live drums along with a backing tape, and it'll be a backing cassette tape. I'm behind bars, help! So as you can see, this switch on my Porta Studio is tape out. It's, if I had it on line out like that, the whole thing wouldn't work, because tape out makes it so that these RCA outputs individually output each track of tape. So I've got track 1, track 2, track 3 I'm not using, and track 4 I will be using. Actually, Matt, can you hand me that RCA to 1/4 inch? Right. The reason I have an RCA male. I have a lot of these cables. Can you see the prong? Okay, so that's the RCA male to male 1/4 inch, because these are all getting hooked up to amps. And then in turn, I can individually modify each one through the use of signal processing devices, not unlike this Rocktron Sonic Glory right here, or this Deep Blue Delay Mad Professor Chinese knockoff, or go over to there where it says Death Metal and Octave. Those are two other pedals that I intend to use. So the first one, track 1, this gray one, is going to go, and then you can cut, or you can just crossfade. Channel 2 of the PV standard PA mixer amp, which is in turn connected to Bose 802 Series 2 PA speakers, although I believe only one works. So I'm basically using a PA speaker as an amp, which I happen to think is pretty cool, because you get certain bass frequencies that a guitar amp wouldn't get, and you get certain high frequencies that a bass amp wouldn't get. So let's turn it on, or should we turn it on, or so the volume isn't even halfway right now, and this is track 1. So the second track, track 2, is going from tape output 2 to this pedal to this amp. So right about now, you might be saying to yourself, "Hey Sam, that's noisy as shit. How are you going to drum in time with that? That's not even, there's no rhythm to that. It's like all reverb." Well, on the contrary, I have a built-in precaution. Because on track 4 of this very tape is a metronome. for the purpose of demonstration, I'll show you what it sounds like coming out of the amp without the click in my headphones. So you've got that. That can be, I can modify that, make it bassier, or make it, or distort it. But the point is that I have that in my headphones while I'm drumming, preferably in time with it. And then this can be on. So there's that. So sometimes I like to record a partial mix down. As in, I like what I have so far, and I like to record amps plus live drums. But then, if I want to add more later, how am I going to do that? In time with what I've recorded so far. And one thing I like to do is I like to record basically a mono mix of the amps and the live drums onto a track, and that's track one, that's the left, and then I like to record metronome onto track two, because this tape deck here, this is my mix down deck, so I can't record onto 4 tracks. I can only do 2 tracks at a time. I should just get another 4-track really, but the cool thing about it is that, for one thing, there are positions so that if I'm recording onto a metal tape, I can hit metal, so that's a metal oxide, but if I'm recording onto just CR2, then I can hit that, and if I'm recording onto normal, I can hit that. Another cool thing about this thing is that, as you can see, it has XLR inputs in the back. So I can go from my preamp, which can be best shown in the mirror. That's what it looks like in reverse. And then I can go from that to this tape deck right here. But how do I hear the metronome in my headphones from here and also record the metronome onto a track of tape? Well, one option would be to split the signal. So like I do have an RCA to dual RCA splitter. So in theory, I could put one of these in the tape output of track 4, and then I could send the track 4, which is the metronome, to 2 different to 2 different places at once. But I don't like to do that because it creates a ton of noise. And I even start to see noise levels showing up on these meters here. So there's some sort of feedback mechanism that I don't even really totally understand myself. The other option, so what I like to do is I like to go from the effect send to my preamp. And I can show you how I do that right now. I take this 1/4 inch, plug it into the effect send. That in turn goes to an EQ so that I can filter out any unwanted frequencies, because it is just a click track. And then this male to 1/4 inch to male XLR, go to my preamp right here, and then Matt, do you mind if I record over this video? So the output, instead of on right now it's on repro, so that I'm basically listening to the Dio tape. But if I want to listen to the input monitor, then I would hit input in theory, and then since I got the preamp going in the input, go to the mirror. So I've got the preamp going into the input. So since I've selected input, in theory, when I tap this microphone, I should hear that coming out of the monitor speakers.
Good evening.
Alright, let's see the VU meters. So right now, that's what the metronome looks like on the right. And I'm recording on a track 2, which of course is the right track. Here's the left. I guess that's it then. Oh no, wait, no, that's not it. Oh yeah. Now, once the more technical aspects of the setup have been achieved, possibilities for spilling on a recording are quite numerous, to say the least. I can actually change the speed of the tape. So, right here. Since I recorded this at high speed, I can run it at normal speed. And then it'll be really slow. The other thing I can do is I can turn the dBx unit on. Alright. As it turns out, I can't record over the Dio tape because somebody broke the tabs and I don't have my Gorilla tape right now, and I think it's easier to open a new tape than it is to find tape and find adhesive tape and use the adhesive tape to tape over the tabs that should never have been broken, but I guess somebody really likes Dio. Here's what it sounds like all together. I've got this amp on, I've got this PA speaker on, and the bass is turned up to 10, maybe I'll turn it down to like 8. Treble is going to be at 7. Microphone's on, recording. I'm just kind of using it as an overhead. Toward the drums, and this amp is on, and the click is in my headphones. They're not really my headphones. My headphones are better. Okay, so here's just a little what it sounds like together. One thing that I did kind of think about while I was doing this is that, I mean, I don't have to have it be a mono mix down where all the instruments are on the left and just the click tracks on the right. Because what I could do, since I use the effect send and the tape outputs simultaneously, suppose that I didn't need a click. Suppose that I could just do it without the click. Then one thing I could do is I could have the amps being mic'd, and that could be the left, but the right, I could actually send tracks 1 and 2 through the effect send, and then, I could actually notice how for tracks 1, 2, 3, and 4, I have the effect master all the way up, but only the 5 o'clock position is for track 4. These are all at 0. Well, not 0 o'clock, but looks more like 7 o'clock. But the point is that tracks 1 and 2 are not getting sent to the effect master, which is in turn being outputted right here. But if I could do that, and then I could get both miking the amp and also the raw sine, or I could put the effect master through the EQ, and then I could EQ it so that I get a mid boost, and I could do stuff like that.